Deep in the ocean, an orca pod is on the hunt. But these aren't your average orcas. These guys are organized.
Marketing team, did you get those social media posts scheduled for the SEAL migration?
Aye, Captain. We even have an automated notification for all pod managers when they go live.
They use Monday.com to keep their teamwork sharp, their communication clear, and their goals in sight. Monday.com. For whatever you run, even orcas. Go to Monday.com to dive deeper.
Well, I don't see the point in waiting any longer. So let's bring her out. A star attraction. The one you came to see. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Miss Judy Gold.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm thrilled today. You know, it's like when you have, I have guests who I don't know that well, and I learn about them, when I do my research. But I have known this guest for so long.
We can't say.
It's really long. It's longer than a lot of people who are famous stand-up comedians who are famous right now, who've been alive. Anyway, but fuck them. They suck. Anyway, she has the best laugh. She's an icon. She is really, I don't use this word really at all ever because I kind of hate it when people use it, but it really does. She is unique. She is fucking, I'm not kidding. I never use that word because it's, so overused. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only writer, host, author, comedian, feminist, Beth Lapides is here, everyone. Woo!
Thank you, Judy. Thank you.
That was a good intro. I like that
That
intro.
was lovely. I loved it. I loved it. Thank you so much.
Beth, people don't know, but I know you since the mid-'80s.
I knew you. You still have your spit curl.
All right, shut the fuck up. We're not talking about that. That was...
You were, no. I loved it. No, we knew each other from the day, and I've been a big fan of yours from the beginning. You were always inspiring and funny, and I loved how you had such a, you would come into the club, you'd be listening to your sets or music, you were working, you were just really working. In a really, really inspiring way. I just knew you were so focused on what you were doing. You weren't bullshitting around. You weren't there to kill time. That's one of my biggest pet peeves in comedy is the killing time sort of aesthetic. I don't know. What else do I have to say? If anybody I've ever seen anyone on stage says like, so anyway, what else? I'm like,
oh, I know. That's so fun. Yeah, I was always hyper focused about, and I have the worst ADD because I wanted to be a great comedian. Like I really wanted to be a great comedian. And those Thursday nights at Comedy U Grant, which is where I met so many women. So before we get to Beth's childhood, which we will be getting to, even though she doesn't think we are. Anyway, there was a club down at 55 Grand Street in Soho. Remember Bert?
Bert.
Yeah. Bert, and what was the other? And that was the answering machine message. Welcome to Comedy U Grand on 55 Grand Street in Soho. But so I did, in doing research for my book, I was looking up old ads in the newspaper for shows because this literally this is how I met all the women comedians because Thursday nights was all women. And it was the only place we could go and work together because no other clubs put more than one woman on a show, if that. And remember, we got $5.
Oh my God, I did forget that. Yeah.
Remember you'd go to the booth and you'd see the lineup on the wall.
Oh, yeah.
And I met pretty much every female comic who was in New York and performance artists. Like Reno was there. There were a lot of, and it was these two guys, Bert and the other guy who made porno films.
I want to say Larry, but I don't know if that's right.
It was a Jewy name, and he was really not attractive, but he made.
It was really about Bert. Bert was really the one. He had a passion for it.
Yeah.
You know, in the comedy business, you come across people who have a passion for comedy and some who don't.
Right.
I always got the feeling he really did love.
He loved it. He loved it.
Yeah.
And but here's the thing that really got me. So I was looking in the archives of, like New York Times and the Village Voice and all that stuff. And the ads for that show.
Oh my God.
It was Comedy Grand, all female comedians. It was so redundant,
like female actresses.
Right. And I was like, and I mean, we haven't come that far. We haven't moved that much further.
No, not that, wow. But you don't see the word comedians too much anymore.
No, but people try to put it in like, do you want to be a comedian? And I'm like, no, I don't. I never wanted that.
Yeah, I mean,
what is that? It's
Yeah, it was, I only went there, I mean, because it was in Soho, so I felt comfortable. I was like, all right, well, it's in Soho, so
the downtown people.
Yeah, it was a downtown.
So a little bit about Beth. Beth, you're from New Haven, Connecticut. You have a brother, Michael. You think I don't do my research?
Oh my God.
Your mother, Rita, who recently, she just passed.
She passed about a little before a year ago. Yeah, a little over a year ago. Yeah.
Oh, she seemed like such an incredible woman.
She was a fighter, as we say.
And is your father Marty? Or no?
Marty.
Yeah.
Marty. Hi, Dad. I'm sure he'll listen. Hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad. Hi, Marty, Rita, Michael, and Beth. Marty, Rita, Michael, Beth. And it seemed like from what the research I did, which is very hard to find out about you growing up.
There's stories to tell, but it's not really out there. But I'll give them to you. I'll tell you.
Oh, good. I can't wait. But it seemed pretty normal. Your mother belonged to the synagogue. She was very artsy and craftsy, and your father was like a salesman, right? It seemed like
schmata business. Ring your bell, schmatas.
Yeah, schmatas, all this and then she ended up working with him.
Listen to this. They bought with some friends. He started out in the men's fine clothing business, like Gant and Sarah shirts, and they ended up buying a parochial school uniform company.
No.
Yeah.
Fucking
in New Haven.
Fucking way.
Yeah, and he once said to me, you're going to love this. If you ever want to feel Jewish, try selling parochial school uniforms to nuns. I remember when I first moved to New York, they had some leftovers, and my loft mate and I took them to some swap meet and try. We didn't sell one,
Right.
Like, oh my God.
That is fucking.
And then they turned it into a golf uniform business.
Yeah, because your mother liked to golf.
They both golf. They're both golfers. Yeah.
So that's fucking amazing.
Yeah,
did they do gym uniforms? Because that was the fucking bane of my existence.
No, they only did they just did those skirts.
Did you wear a gym uniform?
I guess. I think.
I hated
gym. I hated gym. I didn't want to gym.
I hated gym. Try being 6 feet tall and go in a gym, okay? And going in the locker room.
I had no interest. I do have one really great gym memory. Well, two things about gym. My best friend in 7th grade, whose name was Hillary.
Jewish?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Also came out to me when I was 21 and said she'd been in love with me the whole time, which was
no way.
That was fun, yeah. And we were inseparable for like 3 years. Anyway, She was very athletic, and she was a tennis player. And
what shocking.
And so I used to cheat on my gym tests with her. But I remember we were one day doing hurdles, and we had this other friend named Betsy, and she was just like a little blonde. And I remember she was saying, I just can't. I mean, I'm a girl. and I said to her, you can't say that. Like, I hate gym too, but like, you can't say that.
Right.
And at that moment, Gloria Steinem walked by.
No fucking way.
She was like speaking at the school. She was an all-girls school.
Wait, you're lying.
I'm not lying to you. And it was just like, well, it was like, the angel trumpets.
Right.
And she looked at me and she like passed the baton of feminism. She was like, that is right. Correct. Isn't that crazy?
That's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. You, I read in an article that you were hospitalized when you were 5.
I was. I had an autoimmune disease called ITP, and they don't know why you get it exactly. They thought maybe it was an allergic reaction to aspirin, but maybe it really was just like a bruise on my stomach, and they thought maybe it was leukemia. And
your poor parents.
But they were fine. I mean, the thing about my childhood that took me so long to realize, so much therapy. It was all fine. Everything was fine. There was no drama. It was all like underneath. So
right.
In my first therapy, my therapist was, so you're in the hospital, you're 5. And how was your mom? Oh, she was fine. So you're in a hospital, you're 5. They think you're going to die. How was your mom? No, she was fine. So you're in the hospital and you're 5. It was like, oh.
Right.
But it was so confounding, and it's maybe one thing that makes me unique, because I felt fine. I did feel fine. There was nothing wrong with me, but then I thought I was going to die. So you have no sense then of like, am I okay? You never really know if you're okay because you feel fine, and then it turned out you were maybe going to die, even though you felt fine.
Right. So you're 5.
Yeah.
Do you remember what you could, cognitively?
I remember so much about that. There's so much about that experience that I really is burned in, and really did shape me. I'm sure I'm a comedian because of that.
Really?
Oh, because it was so. Okay, here are a few things.
Okay.
One, incredible pain. It didn't hurt, but then a few years ago, my mom was in the hospital. We were waiting for what do you talk about while you're waiting for someone having an operation?
Right.
It can't be too light. It can't be too heavy. So I said to my dad, it's like I'm trying to find the thing.
Right.
I said, hey, Dad, I have a memory. Here's a memory that I don't understand. I mean, was I abducted by aliens or something? I remember lying on a table, and and I'm screaming, and there's like a big light hanging over me. I was abducted, right?
Right.
And he's, oh, that must have been your spinal tap. So, like, I'm already fully grown up,
Right,
and I'm like,
right.
Oh, no, I don't remember. I had a spinal tap when I was 5. So there's the screaming, the constant screaming, and then there's also the needles, the taking of blood all the time, and they always used to say, it's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt. So really,
I wish they wouldn't do that. Like,
they can't just say
it's like,
Judy.
Just say it's going to pinch, it's going to hurt. Just fucking say it. Because then you're like,
then it's going to be over. Yeah.
Right.
And then it's going to end. And that's what life is. Pain passes. It's for the moment. And it was such a huge lesson that I had to, unlearn. If you're going to talk about the and what the thing is, it's like, and we're all unlearning now so much, So, the unlearning that and the trying to make things okay for people, trying to, oh, it's okay, I'm sick, but it's okay, dancing monkey, And there were 2 things that happened. One was, I remember being in the hallway one day, and some kids were playing doctor, and I said to myself, why are we playing doctor? I mean, we're in the hospital. Can't we think of school or house? Like anything to get the hell out of the hospital. I mean, astronaut, something.
I love that.
And I mean, I'm not doctor either, like sexy doctor, fake shots.
Right.
So and then when I was after New York comedy and I came to LA and I'm working in the clubs, and the clubs here were just even worse than New York for me. And I just didn't it was just, everything was a showcase. And
right.
I loved comedy so much. I had so fallen in love with comedy, and I hated at the same time the way it was being done. And I kept having this thought, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way. And then I followed Andrew Dice Clay one night at the Comedy Store and hated him for his, women hating things, and then hated the audience for laughing at him, and then hated myself for hating everyone because I don't do well with hate and I don't believe in it. And then I get on stage and I'm like,
Andrew
I don't know. I'm just, I'm bad. Goodbye. I'm sure that was
right.
Never mind. I'm bad.
Right.
So, And I really was so motivated to do something else. And then I remembered again in the hospital, there's got to be a better way. And I just thought, you know what I didn't ever do in the hospital was suggest a different game. I just sat in the hall and thought, why are they playing that? And I thought, if you don't like the way the comedy world is, then fucking do something about it.
Right.
So it was because I think of the hospital experience that I understood my responsibility.
Do you think it took... Well, it took years of therapy to understand that hospital experience.
No, actually, I haven't even had I had that before therapy. I understood that. It was later on with the pain stuff to the therapy, but that one I actually did get on my own.
So, like, you're 5, and you're like, what do you understand about death? Like,
you understand at 5 that you're going to die. It's like a whole different life. It's a different thing with your life. Because there are kids dying. Like, kids are dying.
And because you're also surrounded by, you're in a hospital with kids who are sick.
Yeah.
I mean. Is your brother younger or older than you?
Younger.
Younger. Okay. You know what? You are an oldest. You totally seem like an oldest.
Bossy.
Yeah.
Bossy Betty. Bossy. Do it, Mom. I'll tell you how it's going to go.
So they never ever let on that they were fucking freaking out.
They weren't there that much. It's not like now where you can be with your kids.
I know.
I remember. It was like, bye.
I had a hernia when I was 9. Right?
Oh, ow.
And I was in the hospital for a week, right? And it's, they come for an hour or two. Like, that was it. And you're sitting there. And you kind of learn how to, like, navigate, okay, if I want this, I got to talk to that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but it's true. They didn't sit, like, when Ben was really sick and he was, I guess he was like 5 weeks old and he had a spinal tap. Ugh.
Oh my God.
Bad.
Oh, at 5 weeks old.
Yeah.
God.
Because he had a high fever and they thought he maybe had meningitis.
Oh my God.
It was September 13th, 2001. It was hell.
Oh my God.
Anyway, but I literally stayed I was in the hospital with him the whole time.
Yeah, that's how it is now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why this is why these are things that make us who we are and not this like coddled, everyone gets a fucking trophy bullshit that has ruined everything.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
I also got my first press in the hospital. I mean, it really, really, really shaped my life.
Yeah, you took your first what?
My first piece of press. Like there's a
you did? You got...
There's a giant picture in the Providence Journal, like huge.
Right.
And I'm sitting on my bed, all dressed up. I mean, I was all dressed up. There are pictures of me playing in the sandbox in party dresses.
Right.
I'm like,
So straight.
So, and so I'm like, sitting on and I'm playing with an Etch-a-Sketch. And I'm surrounded by nurses, and they're all looking down at me with their little white nurse hats. Right. And this was like such a proto-Leslie. If only I had been, a little more L, a little less B. And anyway, the thing under it says, all the girls are interested in Beth. Coy patient, pretends to play while surrounded by student nurses or something like that. And it was just like that. And that was, here you are. I mean, this is your public self. You're dressed up in a hospital. I mean, because I used to go out and play. And then one day I was actually sick and with a cold. And so I was in bed and I was doing paint by number. And the nurse said to me, don't spill it. And I knew I would spill it. So I also learned that like your mind creates a lot of your reality.
Right.
And I always thought, why did I get this thing? And then my joke was always, my family was so claustrophobic. I had to get out of there somewhere. I mean, he knows this is my joke. And it's so close. My family was like a double date. It was like my mom and dad, and my parents were very like this. And my brother and I don't know. It just seemed very like, I got to get out. And then I was once reading Louise Hay's book, and I looked up my disease, and it was like, and I looked up my, the blood disease thing, and it was like claustrophobia in family or something.
No way.
Yeah. So I was like, oh.
Wait, so how long were you in the hospital?
I can't get a straight answer. There's no history of my, like a month, 2 months. They're like,
oh my God, that's such a long time. That's like a large chunk of your life when you're 5 years old.
Yeah. And then I wasn't getting better, but what I did actually, I'm in medical case books because it finally did reverse. It would reverse itself when I would get sick, and then your platelets and finally I got a cold and my platelets went up and they stayed. But it was longer than, they can take out your spleen, and thank God I had a very conservative doctor, and they waited and waited. And also, so lessons of patience, waiting and waiting.
Wow. That is, so you're in the paper. Weren't the relatives call Beth's in the hospital? What's going on?
I think they all knew. I don't know. We were living in Providence. The whole family, we're from New Haven, as you mentioned. And my parents met in junior high school and stayed together forever. And
they never were with anyone else. Because
my mother would say this: I once went on a date with someone else. And I think my dad did have another. I mean, I think in college.
Was your father in the military or no?
He wasn't in a war though. He was
but they probably fool around with the other.
No, they were living together. He didn't go off to war. He was working in like the CIA or some intelligence thing where he had to take pictures. And they lived together. My mom lived with him. They were together.
So since junior high school?
She was in junior high school. He was in ninth grade.
Wow. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine? I mean, it's insane. It's insane.
That's the only penis she has ever seen.
Well, she's seen other penises. She saw my brother's penis.
Right. So your father and Marty and Michael. That's it.
And anything on TV. I don't know what her TV watching.
So did you go to public school?
I went to in Providence a teachers college school, which was and then I was too smart. The birthday thing. So I was done with kindergarten, but too young for first grade. So they put me in something called transition, which I think also focused me on my obsession with change and shifting and it was very individually oriented, and you read books with the teacher and you learned writing. Listen to this. You would take your finger and trace the letter on sandpaper letters. It was the most sensual, that's how I learned to write, was tracing letters on sandpaper letters. And then you would go to the chalkboard and do it. It was very sensual and beautiful.
But I think that's so important because I know, I played the piano, so that I feel that. But also when I write my jokes and I handwrite everything. It's because there's something about that tactile thing and your brain and
Sometimes, I love also working on the computer. I love both of them. I just love writing. I love the experience of writing. And then sometimes I just love talking, but just the love of words. I'm jealous that you have the piano thing. It seems to me that would be one of the greatest.
I know, but I think that, I had such bad ADD, ADHD.
Did it help with your, did it help you?
It's still, I'm better now because I know what it is. But the thing about music, I could sit there for hours. That was the only thing that I could sit. And I think I would read books, but I couldn't finish them a lot of the time. But I could read a piece of music and really remember that. And I think, thank God for music, or I would be illiterate. That I always think that.
That's amazing. That's such a gift. Oh my God.
But now I read all the time. But you're not diagnosed. You think of all the kids who were weird.
I think I'm just recently, my therapist said to me, I think you have a little ADD. Did you ever think about that? And then, just now, last week. And also, she says I have something called executive brain function disorder.
I do. I have that. Mazel tov, Simmons. tubbin. So I have no, like, don't even tell me. And it, not only, mine's so bad that it makes me fucking crazy. If someone said, okay, we're going to do a PowerPoint of I like,
right?
Brain explosion.
And this is the funny, you'll guess. So she said, look into that. Go Google it. See what it is. See what you think.
Yeah.
So I took a page of notes, and when I was done looking at the page of notes, they looked like such chaos.
Right.
I was like, my page of notes about this proves that I have it.
That's so fucking, yeah, I have it so bad. It's
but
like,
also, I don't drink anymore, but I think for a long time, the reason I drinked at the reason I drinked at the end of the day was because my brain was so overloaded with, like, I couldn't handle, because I do all these executive, I've built a life where I have to have executive functioning.
And it's so, that's what, like, I try to explain to Elisa, who, is a therapist, but she works in her family's, she runs her family's business now, but, she knows that I have.
Are they all therapists?
No, she stopped seeing patients and now runs this her family's real estate, and she's really loves it. Anyway, that was sarcastic. It's like, she has to work. Just imagine that all the shit you have with your family, but they're really incredibly nice people. But whatever shit you have with them, that you have to, like, be with them every day in a work environment too. Like, I'd fucking kill myself. But yeah, so, like, I have no executive function, and I have this, terrible ADD. And so, when we get in these fights, and you get people don't understand, like, when your brain is overloaded, like, if I'm focusing on something and she comes in and is like, I made reservations, and I'm like, no, I can't go there. Like, it's like a train going through my brain. Like, I'm never going to be able to go back to the point where I was just at. No, you ruined everything. And it's awful. And she's like, you don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like to have to live with someone with ADHD. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and so, I think, you drank, but I smoked pot starting, like, at 16. I was like, it's the only thing that would, like, calm my brain. I don't think
the pot really helped this, though. I feel like for me, the pot might have made it worse. I stopped smoking before I stopped drinking because the pot got so strong. It was like. But
it's so weird when your brain, and, like, why did it take me till my 50s to, like, accept that about myself? You know what I mean? And I don't know if I would get so mad at myself, like, why,
I did actually found a big, I just found workarounds that kept me from knowing. Like, basically, after high school, went to Brown.
Yes, I know. We didn't get there yet. Go ahead.
Oh, and at Brown, I made up this was what I majored in at Brown. Modes of expression, art, dance, and writing.
Modes of expression.
I never took one test. I never took one test. I took all my courses pass fail, or SNC as it was called.
Right.
Satisfactory, no credit. You couldn't fail. And I got notes from teachers that told me I did well, and I wrote papers about literature, Greek literature, and I just did a total workaround.
You did, yeah. You found it.
I didn't know I had it. I just worked around it without even knowing. It was like, la la la, I don't see that bush. La 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 la.
Wait, modes of expression. What is it? Dance,
art, dance, and writing. Yeah, I did a lot of visual art. Yeah.
I know. I didn't get there yet.
All right.
Wait. So, all right, back to New Haven. So now we're back in New Haven, So was it?
And then I went to public school until 6th grade. My dad and I had the same 6th grade teacher.
No way.
Yeah, Mrs. Quinn, and then.
But were you always, like, really smart, getting straight A's? And
I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's not ADD, though.
No. I often got straight A's, but then there were certain things that were very hard for me to learn, and then I found work. Like, I was really bad at languages. I went to a private school in junior high school. All those girls had been in private school since day one.
Right.
They all knew French. Then I had to learn French and Latin, and I couldn't learn it, and I couldn't memorize, so I dropped out of Latin. And, I tried to just do less. I kept finding ways. And then when I changed schools again. And then I was in this class. This is so perfectly explains executive function disorder. So I'm in this class called historiography, taught by actually one of President Garfield's great grandsons, who looks just like Henry Ford. I don't know why that's just by the way. And he gave us this assignment. Okay, you got 25 facts, 50 facts. I don't remember how many. You got a bucket load of facts, and then you have to order them. Okay, so I go home, I do it. I call my friend Bob. Hey, Bob, how's it going, Bob? So he's, yeah, oh my God, this is so hard. I'm like, hard? This took 5 minutes. He's like, this is so hard. I was like, well, if you say so. And I mean, just I couldn't even see the problem of ordering the events. I was
right.
like, oh, this is so easy. Just there you go. I couldn't see it.
Right.
But I don't know how I thought. I wrote good essays. I got my English.
But here's one of the things that I can't do with my fucking disease is take multiple choice tests.
Yeah.
I
can ace it like nothing.
You can do it?
Yeah, you can't do that.
Oh, I can't.
I can do that.
I read into every.
Oh yeah. Wait. Oh yeah.
Well,
I can't take a quiz
if this happened, then that would be true. I cannot.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. There's no black and white with me. It's so did you go to Hebrew school? Yeah, I know you went to the synagogue.
Shalom. I went to Hebrew school until 6th grade, and then in 7th grade, when I would have gotten my bat mitzvah, I was given the choice whether or not I wanted to go or not, and
Okay, what is that? I grew up in Jew jail. Okay, I mean, I seriously, this is how bad it is. Okay, this is how bad. My Shabbat candle. Okay. And my mother was like, okay, not only Jew jail, I had to go to Hebrew school. I had to go to Hebrew high school.
Oh, in a way, I wish I had it.
Why did your brother get I bet your brother got bar mitzvah.
I know, it's like that thing.
Right.
My brother got bar mitzvah and I didn't, and I wish I had. And as I've gotten older, the Jewish thing has become more important, as is every part of my spirituality. I mean, the meditation, the chanting, the yoga, the Judaism, all of it. I mean, I guess at a certain point, I've heard a million people do this joke now, so I never do it. But I mean, my earliest joke, and I had never heard anyone do it at the time. Maybe I was first. Who knows? Anyway, not Jewish. I'm not a Jew. I'm Jewish. Ish. I feel vaguely. I think my thing was I feel vaguely anxious, vaguely something, vaguely like having a nosh. A nosh is a very vague thing.
Right.
It's not even a real meal. It's just a vague snack. It's not a snack. It's not even a snack. A snack is a clear proportion on a small plate. A nosh is something you have just whenever, from the bag, when you're hungry or not.
That is so fucking funny.
And then I started to think about,
is that an old joke?
It's very old.
Yeah, I remember you doing that. Okay.
That is so old, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so old.
This week's episode of It's Judy Show with Judy Gold is sponsored by BetterHelp. And if you know me, which I think you do because you're listening to my podcast right now, you know that I am a big advocate for therapy. I think it benefits everyone. I think there's so many people who need it, who don't partake. It is so important for your emotional health and well-being. Therapy is fantastic. It is in every stretch of the imagination. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, please do it. But please give BetterHelp a try. It is entirely online. It's designed to be convenient. It's flexible. It suits your schedule. You fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. I have switched therapists in my life. I've had many, many therapists, and sometimes it's not a great fit for you, but don't give up. Therapy is beneficial. You can learn about yourself, you can process, and just be emotionally healthy. I'm telling you, do it. BetterHelp is great because, when I used to schlep to my therapist's office, it was so annoying. You have to do it, and you sit there and you wait, and then I'm telling you, doing it online is fantastic. And BetterHelp is amazing. I know a lot of people who've used it. So if you're thinking about therapy, go to BetterHelp.com. Let the gratitude flow. This is Gratitude Month, people. So you need to let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/JudyGold, JudyGold, today, and you will get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JudyGold. You're welcome.
Were you popular? Because this is what I was trying to figure out when I was researching you. I'm like,
If I was popular?
no, I was trying to figure, because I was so unpopular, so it's like I'd still have an obsession. But I was thinking, would she have been? She would have been one of those people. This is what I think, and then you can tell me.
Okay.
Because now think of the largest, like this abnormally large person who is, funny but awkward, smart, like nerdy but not,
Yeah.
And I didn't have a lot of friends, and everyone teased me all the time. But I think you would have. I think I would have. There were like the smart girls. There were some smart, like really artsy smart girls who like totally loved me.
I would have loved you. I love you now, and I would have loved you then.
But you were popular, weren't you? I could just see you with the cigarette, like fucking Miss Cool, like, oh, Beth Lapides is on her. Oh, did you hear about Beth Lapides? And that's what I think.
But I went to very small schools, and it wasn't like, when I see this whole thing about clickiness and like mean girls, like we didn't really have that. I mean, it just wasn't more, I don't know. I mean, maybe I didn't see it because I was it.
Right.
But I don't think, I mean, I never, sure, everybody has some things with friends. But mostly it was not that.
Was it cliquey? Like, I grew up in a cliquey suburb. If you weren't in this group, then you were fucking.
Here's what it was, because my school was not neighborhood adjacent. It wasn't about my neighborhood. So I had a lot of Jewish friends that were sort of in New Haven. There was like a Jewish ghetto, was called.
Right.
And so I lived in that, and then Hebrew school was sort of away, and that was other people, and then school was in Hamden, and that was other people. So there wasn't this persistent sense of like this persistent group, that was together all the time. I had friends in my neighborhood. I had friends at school. I had friends.
So you were well-rounded. You had people from different areas.
I would say so.
See, that's so good, because I didn't have that because I lived in that fucking shit town.
But then I also, I was a cheerleader for, this is.
Okay, I was a
cheerleader for the Jewish Center.
No fucking.
Has anybody ever said anything more Jewish?
Wait. They had the fact that they even had cheerleaders is so, what did they call them? The whiners? I hope you win. Don't get hurt. These are the cheers for the Jewish Center.
Beep, beep. Ungawa. The JCC has got the power. Beep, beep. Ungawa. This was the easiest. There were no pyramids or,
Oh my God. That is so fun.
There was no gymnastics, but we had a lot of enthusiasm. But
that is please don't get hurt. Boom, 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 boom. Don't trip and fall. Boom, boom, boom.
was a social thing, and there was a lot of hanky panky on the bus.
I bet.
With those
that's
boys.
what all that is. And did you have a uniform for that?
It was so cute. Oh my God. And also then I became a cheerleader. Oh, so this is what happened. Then
I cannot see you as a fucking cheerleader.
I know. I did it for years. I did it like in 9th and 10th grade. And
all right.
I was like, and then I said, cheerleading. I said this. I was like, cheerleading, this is okay. I'll do it for school and I'll get out of gym. That was like a way to get out of gym.
Right. Oh, right.
So then I joined cheerleading at school, and it was like for football, and it was cold. And
I know. I was like, in the band.
No.
I know.
No. Basketball, yes. In the gym, and it was loud. It was like dance. It was a little bit like dance. You know, you could feel like you were. But for football, I was like, I got to get out, and they were like, well, you can't quit, and I was like, I'm quitting. And they were like, you can't. I was like, they were like, you have to get kicked off. I was like, fine, kick me off. That was, I think, my approach to life. I'm not good at French. I'm out. You know, I think I just went through things thinking, well, I'm good at some things, so the things I'm not good at, I'll do.
God, you have such confidence.
And I don't know if that is good.
Right.
I don't know. No. I don't know if that is good, because maybe the things I should have learned, I would have learned doing.
Oh, shut up. You're doing fine. And was your brother, did you get along with him? Were you guys close?
Yeah, we were close. I love my brother. He's a sweetheart. You know, he was a younger boy, so that also gives you, there's a bigger spread in stuff.
Right.
There was we didn't have any real problems. We were kind of close as 2 years apart, boy and girl, which seems like, he's a sweetheart. He had kids, which is great.
I know. Good for your,
it's good.
Your parents got to have Nathan and Isaac. Juju.
Oh my God.
I know everything.
Scary.
I know. So, all right. So you graduate, and like, did you apply to a lot? First of all, I
applied to one school. I applied to Brown. I wanted to go there. I applied early admission. I got in, and that was that.
That is, in our synagogue, did you hear Beth Lapides is going to Brown early admission? Early admission. Did you take the SAT and everything?
Sure.
See, I did so poorly. I had excellent grades. I did so poorly on the SAT.
Really?
Yeah. I can't do it. I'm like sitting there going, I can't even finish it, because I'm just like, well, in this circumstance.
School? Rutgers is a good school.
Okay, whatever. It was $2,500 a semester. That's why we went. My father went there. And he got a law degree and an MBA there. My brother went there, but then he went to University of Michigan Graduate School. My sister went there. I went there. It's like, and my two niece and nephew go there.
And your son went there?
No, he went to Indiana University.
And where's your other son going?
He is playing basketball, Division I, for Tulane, in New Orleans.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, he loves it. He fucking loves it.
Amazing.
Okay.
He's the only Jewish player? That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason why the Jewish Center basketball team, and we were really good. We would go to the nationals and stuff. It was a great team, actually.
Yeah.
And
Jews love basketball.
And they just couldn't get on the team in school, because they were good, but they weren't good enough to compete with, like,
speaking of the devil,
actual people.
So you went right to Brown, which is like right in your like, it's not like, it's very close to New Haven.
Yeah, it was the Eastern Seaboard close. It was,
and you went,
and I still have relatives there, and so there was family there. My uncles, my father had 4 brothers, and 2 of them had actually gone to Brown, and they had a store on campus, basically, that was like a men's, like a little men's fine clothing store. My whole clothes and liquor. That's my whole family. Clothes and liquor.
So you lived in Rhode Island, Providence, which by the way, because I'm in Provincetown right now.
Look at your house. It looks fabulous.
It looks better on the fucking Zoom. Thank you. I bought it in 1994 with my All-American Girl money.
That was smart.
I know. It's the only smart thing I did. Anyway, you went to the best fucking school in the country. Like, come on. Did you know?
I don't know. I don't know. It was. Here's what I loved about it. I mean, I loved it then, and I love how Brown is about difference, and that it really like they pride themselves in what you said, uniqueness, and
Right.
that it, that you could do this thing of making your own major, and you could take classes experimentally and not fail. I loved all that about Brown. I mean, I really responded to it, and I wanted to.
What other cool people were in your class?
Nobody.
Really?
I can't say, because then you'll know how old I am. You already know, but whatever.
So what people were in the few years before you got there?
I've always had such a weird thing about like fame and, being comfortable with who's the famous. I think I didn't get anything about that. I mean, we live in such a culture of fame now, but, it didn't occur to me that like, oh, you should try to be friends with the Kennedys, or, it's just like, I don't know. It was just people. I've had I'm more realistic now, but I think I had a very rebellious attitude about fame and who's famous and why they're famous and who has money, and all that stuff irked me. I think I was a meritocracy idea or something.
Right.
And so
do you think, did those people, did they get in because of their name? Like, do they? Because I mean, you have to.
There is such a thing as a legacy.
Yes, I know that. Yeah.
And because there is a thing about that that's like, you do want to keep families in. I mean, even with UNCAB, it's like, well, I like to have the friends of the people that we have, because it makes it a thing. And so, I mean, there's also the money. It's like, okay, well, we were talking about this last night, like, okay, what's the difference between buying your way in and, having to go to jail for it, and donating a building, and then your kid gets in because you donated a building. I mean, what is the difference? The difference is just in amount, really. It's like, oh, okay, they paid more and a building was built, but it's the same thing.
That's so true.
So I don't know. So
you're very smart. You're very. That's the one thing I always said about Beth Lapides. She is very, very smart. So, all right.
I feel like I'm so much less smart than I used to be, but all right.
Oh, shut the fuck up. So you leave.
I don't know.
You graduate Brown. Did you any friends that you remain friends with from Brown?
Yes, I was going to say is one of the most amazing things about my Brown experience. I am still good friends with a number of people. We had a circle that was, in fact, one of them just called me.
It's for shared
right now, literally right that second.
That's what Ben just called when I was.
We're such.
I can't. I mean, the universe.
It's crazy. Just all the. So anyway, we had this group of friends, and what I cherish about it is it's not all artists. The people you meet when you're then out in the world are. Maybe this is a good thing about being a parent that I never got was, you get to meet the parents of the kids, and maybe they're all different, and that's a nice thing. But my friends, we had this group that just formed organically, and of outcasts, or we weren't jocks, and we weren't nerds, and we were.
You weren't preppy.
We weren't preppy. We were just like the arty and gay. I mean, in retrospect, I see that's what it was.
That's what's been so weird. Because
I didn't get it then, and neither did anybody. But like, oh, okay. So we.
All my friends, but I had a group of friends in college, and then the summer between junior and senior year, we all came out to each other.
Right. It was just like that. It was like, okay, so everybody wasn't, but it was artists and and somewhere on the spectrum of everything. So, we had this little ritual that does also connect to, to go back to performance and how it all connects to being a comedian. And because sometimes I think I'm just so serious. I don't even know, like, well, I made a decision to be funny, somewhere in New York. And then my friends are like, that's ridiculous. That's like, you've been doing this. So we had this thing we used to do, and there was a new dorm built that I lived in. It was on the Pembroke campus, and it was called New Pembroke. And they built this room that was for nothing. Like, it was like one of these like rec rooms or something. But it was inside the room, there was a weirdly other shaped room that had indoor-outdoor carpeting and like a bench and then a hole in a window in the wall that went to inside. It was just obviously made for getting stoned in.
Right.
I mean, there was just nothing else you would do in this room. So, or maybe study. So we would go there. We would go there. There would be a thing that with somebody at dinner or lunch or whatever would go like, get a pie. So somebody would steal a Boston cream pie, and that would mean we were going to meet at the funny room. We called it the funny room, and we would sit around the ledge and get super stoned. And then once we were stoned, somebody would start going, "Oh, great pie. Oh, great pie." And we would start chanting, "Oh, great pie." And there was one spoon and you would pass it around and everybody would take one bite until it was done.
Until it was done.
Yeah. So if you go like it's spirituality and it's commune and it's people trying to find their way. And then there was this window and we would all do shows in the window. We all had shows that we did in this window. And it was just, and I guess I had a show and so my boyfriend at the time, I'm still really close with him. Of course, I did, my boyfriend and his boyfriend. We would sit around listening to the Divine Miss M for hours. And then I never told the story before. So I went to, somebody was saying on cabaret and something, and I was like, I don't know. I never even went to a cabaret. I mean, I saw the movie with my boyfriend and his boyfriend. It was like an immersive experience. And I did that joke I've only ever done that joke on stage once, and it was at the Cabaret 25th anniversary show. And his boyfriend, they sent me. They were the only ones that sent me flowers that night.
Oh, that's so great!
Yeah, so we're still, and in fact, I just had an email from him today, and we're still close. And then my roommate, her name's Sue Lickman, and she is an amazing painter. And she teaches, get ready for your bell. She's a painting professor at Brandeis. And,
Juju. Yeah.
And then her husband is like the head of postgraduate stuff at RISD. And
is he Jewish?
He is not. I'm saying he conged him.
What the fuck? She had to dilute the race.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the girls are all Jewish though.
Okay.
And then I've friends. So and my friend Daniel, who's in Provincetown, he's done many scientists, and it was an incredible book company, and there was just all sorts of people, the historians, and it was a very eclectic group, and we're not all best friends, but it's a loose group, and we've stayed in touch, and everybody asks about everybody else, and you hear about people anyway. So that is one of the hugest takeaways
from going there.
Thank you so much for listening to part 1 of Kill Me Now with my friend Beth Lapides. Woo! How great is she? I love people I've known forever. Anyway, if you like the show, how can you not? Make sure to subscribe, leave a review. It helps more people find this amazing podcast. 5 stars only, please. Thank you very much. Also, if you have not pre-ordered my book yet, which is coming out a week from today on the 28th, a week from Tuesday, you need to pre-order. Yes, I can say that. When they come for the comedians, we're all in trouble. It's available for pre-order wherever you get books. July 28th, audiobook 2. Publishers Weekly says about my book, Gold's defensive comedy filled with great jokes and stories of censored comics is a reminder that freedom of speech is no laughing matter. So there you go. It would mean so much to me if you would just check it out, and please pre-order. I need to make more money than Mary Trump, okay? It's just, I need it, okay? All links are on the homepage of judygold.com. I'm also performing in Provincetown all summer, Monday nights. I have a solo show on Wednesday nights. I'm with Varla Jean Merman for the Judy and Varla show. So check it out on judygold.com. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram for everything else I'm doing. I'm going to be on, The View and the Today Show, and I'm doing a lot of press for the book. So check it all out. All dates are at Judy Gold at JEWDYGOLD, like Jew Gold, get it? Because I'm a Jew. Anyway, thank you so much. I'm really excited about my book, and that I love my fans and I love my listeners, and just be well. And as well, we always say,
So long.
Don't forget to tune in next week to Just Kill Me Now.
It's Just Kill Me.
Oh. Don't forget to turn for part 2 on Just Kill Me.
No, it's not. It's
Just Kill Me.
No.
Judy Gold's Just Kill Me.
Just.
Just Kill Me Now.